Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck, and this is Fun with Tramlines, episode 3. And in the end of the last episode, I was trying to figure out how to wait and sell our crops until they were worth more money. And then, of course, there was great demand at the train station. And so I did off camera figure that out. I'm glad I did it off camera because it took me a little while, and I have to admit, I had to look it up. But how you can sell to the train in Western Wilds, and the key is getting an auger. So here is this auger for $14,500. Small price to pay for the amount we're going to save, and I'll show that to you here in a second. But first, I have to borrow some more money so that we can buy that auger. Because again, we're already in the hole. If we're in the hole 35,000, what is 50,000? It doesn't matter. So we're going to do a couple of things here. Number one, we're going to buy this auger because it seems like if I'm going to continue to play in Western Wilds, which I guess I am, because I'm actually really enjoying this map. As I said in the last episode, I think I'm like 22, almost 23 hours in, and I was just screwing around with tramlines. But now I got this whole system set up and going, so we're dealing with all that. Anyway, I'm actually going to do a couple of things here. Number one, we're going to park this up, and that's just because it's already hooked up. So let's put it away until we need it again. And again, we don't need that cedar to plant the cotton. So we're just going to park this right in front of that cedar, but not in front of our baler. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we're going to go pick up that auger, and we're going to run that down there. But I'm taking the big Fent because I want to remove the double wheels for this. It's going to be several trips, and I'd rather pull it with this large one because they're big, heavy trips. So I'm going to go back, pick up the auger, and remove the tires from this just so I can pull through. I don't need the tires again till I'm ready to plant, and I don't even know if I need them to plant because I don't know if I'm going to use a cedar that's quite as wide. So we're going to actually come to here where we can do repairs, and we're going to customize and twin wheels, standard. We're just going to go to standard, which is $0 because it came with the standard, so it doesn't cost anything. But then this will, I guess, yeah, whenever you repair something, it turns off the engine. So we're going to take this now that it's standard, and we can pull through with, we're going to run the auger down here with this, and we'll run the first load with the little New Holland, but trust me, I'm going to want to use this big Fent to actually run the carts over there because it is a bit of a drive, and I'll show you kind of everything when we get over there. So what I did discover is I can sell both bales and grain over there, and I do have a better price for both. So I think we're going to sell everything here in September, which is crazy. Normally you have to wait till like December or January, but if somebody wants it now and wants it at the best price, why wouldn't we take advantage of that? So we're going to do that. In addition, why is my cruise control set so low? The same stick that does left and right does the cruise control. There we go. All right, my cruise control is back up to 39 miles an hour, which is my max, so that'll get me down there quick. Again, this is over here on the left, not again, but hey, over here on the left is the yard you can buy and set up. And again, it has trees, it has rocks, and I'm assuming the fence is the third thing. There's 3 more signs you can cut down in there, so if we ever expand that far, we already have the chainsaw. We could then remove those things from that area as well, I believe, but haven't tried that. Anyway, so you come down to this river. That's the one thing about Western Wilds. It's got this canal or river or whatever that's perfectly bisecting the map east to west right in the middle. So you have to deal with that. And the train yard is behind that berm, I think is the right word, behind that hill over there. on the left. So again, it is kind of a long drive to get down here, which is why we want to use the big tipper. But the little New Holland has trouble pulling that thing when it's loaded with 33,000 liters of grain. So we're going to want the Fendt to run things over here. We will bring over the bales as well. So the trick here on the train is it's a stationary train. You don't have to rent it. You don't have to do some of the other things that you had to do in some of the other maps with it. But as you can see, that cart's got bales. This one's got pallets. This one here is the grain. It's got a big picture of grain on the side of it. And you need an auger set up. So we're going to get something roughly like that. Drop this off. If you guys have seen it before, you actually get inside these and turn them on. And then you can raise and lower it like this. And I did this on my Edgewater series. I was messing around with these augers, so that was my first real look at augers before. And now, let's see, a little bit higher. You have to kind of mess with the camera and make sure you're like right over where you're going. And then you just kind of leave it with the engine running like that. So we'll go ahead. I guess since we already have the Fendt, let's just go grab a load with the Fendt. I was like, I could switch over to that New Holland, but then I have both tractors down here and neither one of them ready to go. So again, it's kind of a bit of a drive, but so let me talk about that. You saw the train, all the pallets are elevated, so I couldn't overload the grain onto the ground there. It didn't work, and I even tried an auger wagon, but the spout wasn't high enough to get over the top of that thing. The only thing that worked was actually getting an auger like I just did and showed you. So that's how you can get the grain high enough, which we'll demonstrate here in a second. Same thing with the pallets. We do have an auto loader for our pallets right now. So that's working for us, and that allows us to pick them up and unload them. So I was able to drop one bale on the spot from the auto load, but I mean, I had obviously like 13, I think, bales on that auto loader to start with. So doing that 13 times ain't great. It did work, but it was real messy because then I had to pick up the other 12 and they were like under the train and all over the place, and it was just kind of a mess. So in order to, like, putting the bales on the ground doesn't work. There's no spot. You have to load them onto the train. So basically, to do the bales, we're going to need to get a telehandler or a front loader, but I'm going to use a telehandler because that's what I prefer. So that's kind of up in the air because I know we did get 100,000 for the bales last time, roughly. So we could still hold the bales till December or January and get, a reasonable return for them. It's, what it is. We'll get a better price if I put them on the train. But if I put them on the train, I either got to lease or own a telehandler as well. So trying to get the telehandler for that is going to be expensive. So we have to decide whether or not we want to lease one for the increased cost of doing that now, or if we'd rather just buy a telehandler, or if we'd rather just take the cheaper money. Like we can just sell the bales right here on our sell everything. It's not our main crop. We'll still get a decent profit out of them. And so it may not be worth loading the bales, but we can do it with a telehandler. I tested it. It does work. So 231, if we can do 33, this is going to be 7 loads, I believe. But this is the goal, is we're going to get these 7 loads down there, loaded up, pay off our $50,000, and then decide what we want to do next. Because these 7 loads at this great price should easily make up for the difference. It will get us out of debt. And then we can really decide, well, given how much money we make, which I don't know how much it's going to be, that will tell us whether or not we have the money to invest in a telehandler, or if we want to save that money to get a, we'll have to look at planters for cotton, all those factors. So it's like the bales isn't really a big deal to me today. Getting the great price for the oats is, the best part of it for us, because that's what's going to propel us to finally be out of debt and decide like we can invest that money in equipment to plant cotton, but we are going to need some equipment to harvest that cotton. Obviously we have the harvester, but to haul those big round bales around. So there's a loader you can get for that does a little arm thing, and I think it holds 3. So we have to like decide, is that worth it? How much is that versus how much is the seeder that will plant the cotton for us? So again, it's kind of like I don't know that it's worth, because to get the telehandler that I want, it's like 130,000, and so that kind of eats in a lot of our profits. We're 50,000 in debt, and if we throw another 130,000 for the telehandler just to sell those bales there, we're not going to make that money back. It might be better just to take the cheaper price now on the bales, because it's not that big of it. I mean, it's like a $40 difference, so it does add up. So, I mean, that's the thing. We could lease a telehandler. I'm sure we would make more money leasing. Like, we'd make back the $3,000 to $5,000 in leasing in the increased price of the bales. But we just have to decide, like, is that worth it or not? But I digress. I was just kind of rambling to buy some time to get back here so we can get this loaded. So I did test this once. I already know how much I think this load is going to be, but I will wait and we will discuss it after I unload it so that you guys can see it fresh. And then I will tell you, I did one test load over on the sell all point. All right, so that's already on because we left the engine running. So we can now just unload here. And if we back up and get a good shot of it, we're dropping the grain in there, that's dropping in there. You can see our money is finally going up. And obviously that animation's a little bit off. We should probably pull forward so we don't miss so much on the ground, but it's working. And as you can see, it's all coming out up there. And then even when this is done unloading here, this is going to keep loading. So watch, it's going to finish right here. Let me get both of them on screen. So that's finished, but it's still coming out up there because there's, you know, several thousand liters in the auger. And there we go. And look, 43,893. So almost $44,000 for one load. That's a good deal. So that totally makes up for it. I will tell you, I did one load at the sell point right next to our spot. And you know what? I can just do that for you here. Will it be sacrificing profits? Yes. Is it worth it to show you rather than just tell you how much it is? Meh, probably. But it's a good exercise just to kind of see the difference in what the prices can make. So if we're looking at our prices, like for oats, we're getting 1,306 at the farm or at the train. The sell everything is 886. So we'll see what the difference is there. I'm sure you, if you had a calculator, you could do the math, but I'll show you just because it's better content that way. And it's not going to make that big of a difference in the bottom line, probably. So we will zip back. We'll take one load. I'll go to the sell everything sell point, and you can see the difference between 43 point, I think it was 8. So, you know, slightly under 43,000, and what the difference is if we just sold it here, which is why it's worth more to do the auger. Actually, you know what? I should probably save it and then show you and then reload, and then I don't actually lose the profits. That's a smarter idea. Way to use your head there, Chuck. Work smarter, not harder, because I do want those profits. I went through all the trouble of buying that auger. I got to pay off that auger now. So I could have leased the auger, but it seems like if the train is going to be a better deal all the time and I don't have to really rent it every time, then that's going to be a better deal. I know that one map where I had I did the sugar beet stuff on my channel. I hope that video actually made it up. That was a lot of work. But I did a 6-hour sugar beet harvest and then was talking about cut sugar beet and all that stuff. And in that map, you could store 500,000 liters in the train yard. So I went to the train yard and stored them there, so I didn't have to buy the silo because sugar beets take up a lot of space. But regardless, I had to rent the train to actually sell from there, so that was a different thing. Anyway, so let me just gonna save it because I do want the higher profits. I spent a lot of time on this map, guys. Like, I'm not kidding. 23, 24 hours in just to get to this point, and I've only done 2 harvests. We're about to do year 3, but so let's watch this. It's good at 886, but it's better at 1300. So this is, you know, as you can see, 29, maybe 30,000. So we're pretty much 14,000 better per load if we go to the train yard. So we're going to quit and load Western Wilds. And now you guys get to watch this beautiful loading screen if you haven't seen it for the Western Wilds. Here you go. And anyway, so yeah, obviously I'm going to take that 43.8 or 44,000 or whatever it is. Actually, I can look up the number here when we get in, because if I go down to my cache, and we've only done 1 load so far, so it's still in there, 43,893 per load. So we're not going to unload it here. We're going to unload it at the train yard. So that's basically what I wanted to tell you guys. Hey, I figured out how to use a train yard. I showed you how to use the auger. I'm going to have 6 more trips to get everything over there, I think. But then we'll have some cash and we'll get out of debt. Like, this load here is going to get us over 50, so we can finally pay off that loan, which will be a big relief. And then we can start working from a place of hopefully profit. And not really having to screw around with equipment as much. I do eventually, if we keep, like, we have that big seeder that does all the grain crops. So I don't want to get rid of it because we're probably going to want to keep planting grain, and I got the big header. But now, since cotton is the way we're going in the short term, I need something that plants the cotton, basically. Everything else I've got I can do. But I just need something that plants the cotton, and then the cotton harvest will be a beast because that thing is only harvesting 3 or 4 meters wide at a time. It's pretty small. Let me look since we're talking about it and we're driving. Oop, could have missed my turn. It was on the screen, guys, and I just didn't see it because I was panicking about running into the canal. So let me go back to... Yeah, it's 6 meters. So it harvests at 6 meters at a time versus, I don't know, the 40-foot header I have, which I think is what, like 8 point something, 9 meters. Why I say numbers and I don't know. 12 meters. So yeah, like, I can harvest twice as fast in that, using that big Fendt header, as I can with the cotton. So it's fine. It's just a big field. That is a big field. So doing all that cotton is going to be a long harvest. But I'm up for it because I'm just curious, and I'm just having a lot of fun playing this map. I hope that comes through in these videos. You know, I want to make content that is engaging, and I think the best way to do that is to make content that I'm having fun making. And I have had some series that sort of became a chore towards the end. And therefore I didn't really, like, I think the videos got a little boring because it was just, it was kind of a chore. Like, I wasn't enjoying making them. I wasn't enjoying playing that map anymore. So I think that kind of disengagement came through on some of those videos. So I'm trying to chase what I enjoy, because I think that's more engaging content for you guys. And maybe it's not, but who knows? Anyway, so yeah, but like I said, I'm like 20 plus hours into this map and having a good time and excited for this cotton yield in year 3. I'm excited that this train yard is set up. I mean, obviously we'll turn off the engine so we don't run out of gas in that thing once we're done making our 7 trips. We'll decide what we want to do with the bales. I'm kind of leaning towards leasing and loading them there, but anyway, look at that, 43,954. I think that actually went up, or was like $1 more. It doesn't matter. So 91,896. So here we are, guys. 50,000 loan. Bye-bye. Repay. Repay. We are debt free, guys, and we still have 41,000 in the bank. So obviously there's several more trips that I need to make here. I'm not going to make you guys watch all those, but I wanted to catch you guys up that I did solve the train yard issue and figured that out. So I'm going to finish selling all of that. Our harvest number will be in the little ledger, so we can talk about it in the next episode anyway, or the second half of this episode, depending on how I release it. And at that point, you'll see what I'm doing with the bales too, because I'll make that decision. But appreciate you guys checking in with me, staying with me. I'm excited to show you what's up next and get that cotton going. But we are finally in the green, and that is a good feeling. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching this far in the video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps. Or subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.